Hey everybody, welcome to Lore Friday. I'm DM Gallibond, and today on Lore Friday we're going to be looking at the Book of Inner Alchemy. This is the level 12 adventure from Candlekeep Mysteries. Before we get started, I want to remind you to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, click the post notification bell so that you won't miss any time we drop new content on the channel. Alright, let's go ahead and dive into this. This Book of Inner Alchemy is one of the adventures published in Candlekeep Mysteries, which came out in March of 2021. You have to solve the mystery of stolen pages from an ancient monastic tome and the murder of 2 acolytes within Candlekeep Mysteries. So there's actually blood that sparks this particular thing. Somebody came into the library and murdered people. And now you're sent out to find out who done it, and bring people to justice. The setting for this one is Candlekeep Library and the Cloakwood, which is a forest near Baldur's Gate. Teaser for this one is the Keeper of Tomes, who is sort of the head librarian, will offer 8,000 gold pieces to the party if they can return the pages stolen from the ancient tome and bring justice for the murdered acolytes. The Book of Inner Alchemy was written centuries ago by 3 brother monks that practiced the Way of the Open Hand, which is one of the paths that monk PCs can follow. The book contains information on how the purification and perfection of the Way of the Open Hand can lead a practitioner to practical immortality. So, bound by the twin goals of keeping the knowledge secret and preserving it, the authors decided to donate the tome to the Great Library of Candlekeep, where it could be kept safe. What the PCs will find as they start investigating is that the people responsible for the murders are monks from an order called the Order of the Immortal Lotus, and that order has a small temple in the Cloakwood over near Baldur's Gate. And that order is led by a monk who has been cast out of other orders for radical teachings and research, and this includes a pursuit of his own immortality. And his main lieutenants are powerful monks that are fanatical followers of the order's leader. After finding clues in Candlekeep that lead toward the temple in the Cloakwood, the party discovers that the monks are using black puddings to destroy the remains of initiates who prove incapable of meeting the rigors of the demanding training or who show insufficient loyalty to the abbot. Both of those things, being incapable of following the rigorous training or being disloyal, will get you killed. In the one case, they'll push you so hard that you'll die from the training. In the other case, if you're disloyal, they will kill you and they will feed you to these black puddings. Nice, right? Okay, so upon arrival at the temple, the PCs likely have to face off against Steel Crane, one of the 2 lieutenants of the abbot. He's joined in the fight by several monks from the order. Investigating the compound might lead the PCs to find a dwarf adventurer who is the last surviving member of a previous adventuring party, and he is being kept alive in order for the monks to practice their martial arts on him as a sort of living target dummy. Upon discovering the training grounds in the temple, the PCs will meet Jade Tigress, who is the other lieutenant of the abbot. And finally, when they reach the inner sanctum of the temple, the PCs will find the abbot himself, a person named Bakamai, the stolen pages from the tome. Now, Bakamai and his monk followers believe themselves invincible and will fight the party to the death while taunting them. Now, the abbot is near death and it looks like his side will lose. Ultimately, he is going to beg for his life. As a side note, while the adventure doesn't specifically say so, I think this guy will encourage and glorify his followers to sacrifice their lives for his sake, and then prove in the end that he's a coward at heart by begging for his life when he's cornered. This kind of villain creates a real moral dilemma for lawful good PCs who perhaps would want to bring the abbot to face justice and may also feel moral outrage for watching him encourage his followers to throw their lives away for his sake when he's not willing to do the same himself. So that could be an interesting play, and as a DM, I just ask my players to be consistent. I don't punish them for failing to absolutely adhere to an alignment. But it's your table, you do whatever you want. Well, the aftermath of this adventure offers a thread for future adventures. The stolen pages of the book include hidden instructions for how to craft a magic item that requires as material components the souls of 3 special individuals. 1 individual of great intellect, 1 of strong body, and 1 of pure heart. So it was this magic item that the abbot was trying to craft, and it is this knowledge that the authors of the book were trying to keep from falling into the wrong hands. But now the PCs know this information. How many other people are looking for this secret knowledge? And how many of them may discover the PCs know this secret knowledge? And what will those entities or organizations do in order to try to extract that information from the PCs? Now, we all know there's all kinds of really crafty, really devious, really bad news kind of monsters in D&D that have the power to try to go in and mess with people's minds and try to pull out information that PCs wouldn't want people to have. So you could really set up here that the next arc of the campaign would be the PCs having to deal with all of the people coming after them trying to get this knowledge that's now locked in their heads because they read the pages of this journal. And in reality, it's probably a case that as long as people know that they have it, as long as they're alive, there's always going to be people coming after them. But, you'd have to decide that, and how quickly would you get bored of that, that cycle of people coming after them, and how quickly would your PCs or your players, would they get bored of that? The most common enemies that your players are going to face in this particular adventure are other humanoids. The toughest encounter includes the fight against Bakmai, who's a CR13 monster, and several of his Immortal Lotus monks, who are CR5 monsters. Special creatures or items, there's a new magic item called the Gloves of Soul Catching. Now, it's a legendary and wondrous item. Legendary means that technically your PC shouldn't be able to use it until they reach level 17. These gloves are not actually in the adventure. It is the recipe or process or ritual for creating and crafting these gloves that's in the adventure. Number 1, do you want to allow your PCs to actually have this item at level 12? Number 2, even if you don't want them to have it at level 12, are these PCs the kind of people that would go out and find the kinds of sacrifices that are required in order to create these gloves? If you're running a game for an evil party, yes, maybe. If you're running a game for a bunch of people that follow Bahamut and Palor and people like that, probably not. Because they're probably not going to be interested in going out and finding humanoids pure of heart that they can sacrifice in order to make these gloves. Crafting these gloves requires the consumption or destruction of 3 souls, meaning that those individuals cannot be resurrected or raised from the dead. This is not a thing where, oh, well, yes, I'm going to kill you for this, but then we can just bring you back. We can bring you back in 5 minutes. It'd be no big deal. No, it doesn't work that way because it actually consumes their souls. So there's no resurrection if you use them in creating this magic item. It's nasty magic. basically. Favorite elements of this adventure. The map of the Temple of the Immortal Lotus is pretty cool, I think. I also believe the idea of the PCs being unwitting carriers of secret knowledge that will make them targets for every powerful crackpot who learns they know about these gloves is a really nice twist for ongoing adventure possibilities. It's like if some madman discovered the secret of faster than light travel, and the way to achieve it was to detonate the core of the planet. And somebody runs across that. Well, they may not want to know that they know that knowledge, but once it gets out that they do understand that knowledge and they're holding it, then every mad scientist is going to be coming after them, trying to figure out what it is and try to make them give up that secret. It's the easiest homebrew adaptation if you want to build a campaign arc at tier 3 around pursuit of knowledge to create an evil magic item, or one that only an evil person would try to create, or that requires evil acts to craft. Having these gloves of soul catching as some sort of unholy grail your villain is seeking can be a pretty cool idea. Otherwise, you can swap out the gloves for some other kind of magic item that your villain is trying to craft to give them ultimate power, or whatever they're trying to seek in your particular campaign world. You can use this with other editions because monks have been around in many older editions, so this can be migrated with minimal effort to a different edition of the game. The biggest thing you'd have to do is you'd have to try to figure out how you'd balance the gloves of soul catching from 5e to whatever edition you're going to. In a lot of cases, going back to older editions, they would seem pretty underpowered and underwhelming. You'd have to kind of amp them up in order to make them worth the kinds of trouble you'd have to go to in order to make these gloves. All right, that does it for our look at the Book of Inner Alchemy. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope that we will see you back for more Lore Friday episodes in the future. Once again, my name is DM Gallibond, and I'd love it if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, and click that post notification bell so that you too will be notified every time new content drops on the channel. With that, I'll wish you a farewell. Everybody take care.